So here are my top 4 takeaways from Jawanza Kunjufu book, Black Economics. Number 1. The Black consumer. African Americans consumers need to be more conscious of where they spend their money. Many African Americans have no idea how much they spend on food, clothing, and entertainment. And unless we have a firm idea on what we are spending on and direct our money in the direction of building the community, we can never become empowered. We must learn how to invest as a group. Dr. Kunjufu gave an example of how 12 members of the Evans family, featured in Black Enterprise, invested $800 a month for 5 years, and they were able to accumulate $2.3 million as a result of it. If each Black family got together and started investing in stocks and real estate as a group, we should be well on our way to financial empowerment. The war on Black families. In 1920, 90% of African Americans' children had their fathers at home. In 1960, the figure dropped slightly to 80%. And presently, the figure have been hovering around 35%. The various waves represent aspects of the American economy. First, the agriculture, second, industrialism, and third, post-industrialism, automation and computers. Historically, the first people that were laid off when there was a reduction in the American workforce were obviously African Americans. Black people have always been systematically, through institutional racism, pushed to the bottom of the job market, with some blacks making just enough to create a buffer class to convince the larger group of blacks that their shortcomings are of their own makings. Not to mention government programs that penalize Black mothers if they had a man living at home who just got laid off. Needless to say, there has historically been a war on the Black family, because a strong Black family would lead to a strong Black community. My third takeaway from Jawanza Kunjufu is why foreigners did so well. There are a lot of myths around why foreigners do well in America. The first is that they have easier access to capital than Black people. This is just not the case according to Dr. Kunjufu. The fact is that most foreigners start their own credit association because the blank won't give them credit either. For the Chinese, they call it fui. The Japanese and Trinidadians call it susu. The Yoruba call it isusu. And the Jamaicans call it fufu. In New York City, 1/3 of the Black businesses owned by Africans are owned by Africans from the Caribbean, and they are only 10% of the population. Foreigners are also more likely to live with extended family members, which increases the number of people in the household, allowing them to save more and own property at a greater rate. The net sum here is that foreigners have more experience with the idea of group economics. And the fourth takeaway from Dr. Kunjufu book's Black Economics that may be holding the Black community back is the fear of starting a business. Black businesses fail at a very high rate. Within a year period, 30% of all Black businesses have failed. Within 5 years, 75% of Black businesses have failed. And within a 10-year period, 80% of Black businesses have failed. It is said that Black people start businesses to become the boss, and white people start businesses to make money. As a result, many people often feel like the services Black people provide are less than par. Now, this can be debated, but we all know some Black business that do not really treat the customers like they are an asset. This doesn't mean there isn't money in starting a business within a Black community. Sometimes people go into businesses that they really have no formal training in it, and we know that leads to higher business failures. Also, some of our best and brightest are often focused on working for someone else. It is also a lot more prestigious in the Black community to work for a big company or a Fortune 500 company than to start a businesses regardless of who gets paid more. And if Black people are to advance as a group in society, we must put a bigger focus on creating businesses and encouraging our youth about the importance of starting their own business. Okay, family, thanks for watching. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, and like the video. Hit the bell so you can get notified when I drop something new. Those are my 4 takeaways from Black Economics by Jawanza Kunjufu. And always have a blessed day, and remember to live your best life.